Hi guys, I'm Maria.
Hi, I'm Gabriel.
And welcome to my channel. So we're talking all things money, marriage, and just general adulting. And in this video, we're talking about the biggest money mistakes to avoid before getting married. It's common that when we are getting married, or like when people are just generally getting married, it's a big financial expense, and we just came up with some of the things that we thought was really important to avoid in order to just save money and to just not overspend.
So we've got 5 points in total, and the first one is?
Okay, number one is not setting a budget for your wedding. What's the problem with not setting a budget?
You overspend.
Okay,
definitely.
That's it. Simple as. You just have to have a budget. Otherwise, you will just clearly overspend. You cannot go into a wedding without having budgets for various things, whether it's the dresses, clothing, food, venue, everything. And that should include as well like your honeymoon budget and, you know, things like that. Okay. So we had a budget, which we know what I thought we had a budget, and what happened. So
I had two budgets. One budget was the Maria budget, so it was the budget that I actually showed her. But I had a that was less than the actual budget. So I had an actual budget which gave a little allowance if,
like a buffer.
Yeah, it was a buffer,
which I didn't know about.
Which you didn't know about.
Yeah. Which
was just in case things happen. In a couple, there is the one that is a bit more emotionally involved in the wedding itself. So when it came to like emotional decisions, oh, I want this, I want that, which wasn't budgeted in, there was a bit of allowance for it, but it did give me that kind of like that reason to say, oh no, we can't do this, we can't do that, because it's going over budget, so that we don't stress the budget past what we can actually afford. How was that for you?
I don't know. I think I was happy at the end when I realised, oh, we actually have a lot more, because it meant that we had a lot more in savings to start our marriage off with, and we didn't spend all our money on a wedding. But at the time, I think when I couldn't get some of the stuff that I wanted, it was hard. But in the long run, it was fine. Which brings us to number two.
Not thinking about life after the wedding. You have to remember that the wedding is only one day, and the marriage is the rest of your lifetime together. So you really have to think about, you know, how you actually want to live as a married couple. Because after the wedding day, all you have left is the pictures, and if you're
and the memories
yeah. And the memories, which is nice. Okay, it's nice to
and have a good video as well.
Okay, a good video too. But it's nice to have a good wedding, but is that in expense of the rest of your marriage life? Like, do you want the first 2-3 years to be difficult? You know, there's certain things that you have to think about.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to, it's one day. You have to live afterwards, and what do you want that life to look like? You know, are you planning on buying a property straight away? Are you planning on renting? Do you see yourself going on holiday? Are you planning on having children straight away? What about your job situation? Are your job situation stable? And remember that when you plan, things don't always go to plan. And if things don't go quite to plan, would you have the finances to back this up? Because all these things come with their own financial burdens.
I think after, you know, in our first year, maybe first or second year, we really didn't have any complaints or fights about finances.
Yeah.
And a lot of that could put a lot of strain on marriages, even if, though, you know, we don't like to admit it, it could put a lot of strain on finances.
Well, it does, because finances are actually the number one thing people actually divorce over, more so than infidelity and unfaithfulness in a marriage. So finances is such a big deal. We started off well financially, so it just meant that we didn't have that kind of strain on our marriage.
But equally enough, we could have spent a lot more during the wedding.
Yeah, we could have. Very easily. Very easily.
Yeah. If you just kind of list off all the things that we... I would say we.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I say we, but that Maria wanted, like all the Chiavari chairs, light up dance floor, several dresses.
Those things were important to me.
They were important at the time.
Yeah.
But what would be good to know is at that frame in mind, or that at that time you was always, this only happens once. How do you tell somebody that's about to get married, that's thinking that this wedding is only going to happen once, it's their life dream, it's what they wanted? What would you tell them now after you've actually gone through that yourself?
I would say don't be too emotional about it. Don't get overly emotional about the wedding day. It is the wedding day, and your marriage life is just so much more important, and I think you just have to keep drumming that in. That just has to be a constant. Remember, it's one day. Your marriage is so much longer, and some of the stuff that you want on the day, I don't know, it's just like you can invest in those things in your marriage. I mean, you'll be so much happier if you're able to buy a home after your marriage, or you're able to travel and do, you know, things that you want to do financially and not stress about money, or, you know, in case in the eventuality someone loses a job or something like that, it's nice to know that, oh, we have a financial safety net, rather than just stressing. It's just not a nice way to kick off a marriage. Number 3, not being financially transparent.
When you guys are coming in together into a marriage, you guys, you know, become a partner, and it's better, well, you have to have full visibility on finances, things like credit scores, and if there's any debts that one person may have. That's very important to know, especially before you guys commit and, you know, get into a lifetime relationship, which is marriage.
And if you can't be open and honest about your finances, trust me, you guys are not ready to get married.
With us, I think we've always had, you have access to my account, I have access to Maria's account, so we're extremely open. She's got my password for my phone, so she can, because I don't have anything to hide. It's unless you have something to hide, which is the problem, then that's really the main issue. Point number 4, using loans and credit cards to finance a wedding. It just doesn't make sense. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. You don't want to start your marriage with repaying back loans and debts and things like that. We're not completely against using credit cards and loans, only in aspects when it's a financial benefit. So where you can actually make more money from the loan or debt than it actually costs you.
But we don't believe in using credit cards and loan to buy stupid things.
So like if you wanted a bigger venue, or want to cater for more people, it's the reason why you don't have the money is because you can't afford it. So don't take that out. It's not worth it. It's not worth the repayment and the difficulties that it will bring in your marriage.
Imagine you're starting your marriage and you're still paying off for the food, or for your cake, or for your dress that took place like how many months ago? Like, seriously, is that how you want to start your life off? Don't do this. Do not use credit cards and loans to finance weddings. I must say, I'm really thankful for the fact that for some reason, it didn't even cross my mind. I don't know, I feel like at the time I was just shut off to the whole concept of getting a credit card or taking out a loan. It was just something that it didn't actually even occur to me that maybe I should take out a credit card or take out a loan. For me, it's like every time I was thinking about finances, I was thinking about, okay, so we're gonna have to dip into our savings. We have to go into savings to get this out. But I never thought once, let me take out a credit card, let me take out a loan to finance our wedding. And finally, mistake number 5, trying to save money by living together before you get married.
This point is controversial, obviously. But for the sake of trying to, you know, live, kind of combining your finances and actually living together to reduce your financial burden, in some cases it actually, you know, does save you money. So in cases where you're both renting and it's like, okay, let's not have rent individually and move together, it could save you money.
It will save, because obviously you're going halves on the rent. Yes,
but in other cases it might not make any sense, because you could both be at home where you're not paying any rent or very little rent, so it doesn't make sense to come together. So the reason why I would say you should avoid this is because statistics show that 50% of couples that live together before they get married don't actually get married.
we are coming from a purely Christian perspective, and we don't really believe in living together before you're married. Like we said, 50%. We have friends that are couples that have lived together before marriage and they are happily married now and everything is all fine. They are the 50% that work. Equally, we know couples that have lived together before marriage and it just hasn't worked out. And it's incredibly messy, especially if you've gone through the process of buying a place together, which is a huge financial commitment, because then what do? It's such a messy situation that we think it's best to avoid this. Now, like we said, 50% of couples work, 50% don't. Now, we know whether Christian or not Christian, 50% of marriages still end in divorce. So even though you might be saving a lot of money by combining finances through living together, I think in the long run, it's probably not worth the risk of potentially breaking up. Alright guys, that is all we have time for. Those were our 5 big money mistakes that we think people make before getting married. What are your thoughts? Make sure you leave your comments down below. While you're at it, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you next week.